As I approached the fish tank, I first created sort of a siphon, bringing a large sphere of liquid steel beside the tank, creating sort of a tube that funneled down into it. With a little telekinetic force, it was easy to create sort of a vacuum to pull in some water. After all, I didn't want to flood the tank, nor my apartment when I dumped the new water into it. But after drawing about the same amount of water out as I was putting in, I removed the siphon, bringing the new guest to our fish tank directly above it, opening up a small hole in the bottom and allowing water and the symbiotes inside to start pouring in. This took a short amount of time to do, and was fairly easy. Afterwards, the dozen or so new symbiotes quickly started swimming around, as the greenish tint started to spread out in water.
So, how long does this whole process take of making this sustainable for you?
I said as I stared into the fish tank and the new greenish tint that was added. Well, essentially, our scientists created a special type of microbe that's able to produce nutrition and feeds on waste, proteins, like dead cells and things of that nature. Without being invasive, it should only take a few hours for them to settle into the tank and begin to multiply. After that, over the course of the next 24 hours, the tank should be habitable for any symbiote, even those who possess King's blood requirements.
Okay, are they all settled in, man?
Ned said, as he stood behind me in sort of a hyperactive, jittery state.
Calm down, Ned. I just put them in.
I know, man. I just really want to power, okay? I mean, that's so wrong?
No, Ned, it's not wrong. But you have to calm down. Remember, there are countless of these things. Who knows how many it'll be before we find one that actually works with you. But I suppose I'll let you give it a shot again. But please try not to be too upset if none of them take to you,
I said, beginning to step aside. Only Ned would be so excited about having a worm. Well, but then again, he is sort of a worm. Ha, Ned said, making a face over towards Vicky. And I don't see you vying for one. I mean, we are supposed to be helping save him, right? Why don't you offer yourself up? Pick yourself up a little alien hitchhiker. You do want to help, right? Ned said, giving Vicky a smile. Yeah, I mean, I do want to help, but I just sort of have a problem with the concept of it. I prefer my body to just be my body. It doesn't need to really be host to anything. You know your body is already host to a bunch of other organisms, right? You actually have an entire biome living inside of you, of non-human cells, living things that have nothing to do with human beings. They didn't come from us, they just sort of live inside of you, all the time, Ned said, his smile getting wider. Ew, gross, stop it, Vicky said, as she started shivering a bit. Ugh, it's such a gross idea.
Gross or not, it's true.
Please don't start agreeing with him, Vicky replied, still trying to shake it off a bit, as Ned quickly approached the fish tank. Okay, come on, guys. One of you's gotta like me, he said, looking into the tank, as all of our newcoming guests swam up, approaching and looking Ned over. As they did, slowly but surely, some of them began to swim away, one by one, leaving fewer and fewer actually paying attention to Ned, until there were none at all. Oh man, Ned said, his head beginning to hang low. That so sucks. And the big one didn't even look at me. To begin with, Ned shouldn't take that personally, Nylia said in my head. What? Well, king's candidates are different. Normally, we establish whether they have king's blood first, which, as you know, is an exceptionally difficult thing. Then we check them for other characteristics that might be beneficial or align with our sensibilities and needs. But we cannot actually sense king's blood. It is the one crippling crutch that is applied only to those who fall into the category of king's candidates, being so powerful in their bloodline that they absolutely require king's blood in order to sustain themselves within a host. So even if Ned fit all of the other categories, if he didn't possess king's blood, it wouldn't matter. I took a moment to explain it to Ned after Nylea explained it to me. Okay, so then why don't we test me? For the whole king's blood thing.
Well, Ned, there's no real test for it. The only real way for them to know if you have king's blood is for them to try to, inhabit you.
Dude, I am so cool with them giving it a try. Ned, the odds on that are 1 in a million. At least. Actually, closer to 1 in 12 million. Yeah, you're not helping, Nylea, I said, as I began to rub my helmet a bit. I hadn't even had time to change out of my armor yet. Come on, man. I mean, what's it gonna hurt? You said it doesn't cause any damage or anything, right? So what's wrong with checking? Well, I guess there's nothing bad that's going to happen, so if Phileas, I'm told that his name is, wants to give it a try, he can. Nylea, will you ask Phileas if he's interested in giving that a try? Yes, I'm already discussing it with him, Nylea replied. And he says that he is fine with testing, though he is unsure of what to make of Ned. Phileas has not had very much contact with human beings, who act much differently than our original race. He is primarily used to human beings being quite criminalistic, negative, but Ned seems quite different. Phileas is curious, so he will attempt to bond with him if Ned wishes.
Okay, Ned. Phileas said that he's down to try. Just once again, try to contain yourself. Once again, this is a 1 in 12 million shot.
Whoa, what happened to 1 million? Ned replied.
Yeah, Nylea just filled me in. It's 1 in 12 million. Specifically.
Okay, well, I'm remaining optimistic, Ned said, as he clutched his fist in front of him, giving me a head nod. Hey, dreams can come true, right?
Yeah, Ned. Dreams can come true,
I said, as I sighed a bit, hoping that Ned wouldn't be let down too hard, as he placed his hand inside the tank, and Phileas swam right in. Whoa, that is so weird, Ned said, as Phileas began to worm his way through. It's all tingly and stuff, he said, pulling his arm out of the tank. So, how long does this take? I mean, is it like a 24-hour thing? What's going on?
Okay, Ned. If you are someone who possesses king's blood, then we should know pretty quickly. Because if you aren't, Phileas is going to try to crawl his way back out. It shouldn't take more than a few months. Nylea was able to find out that my father wasn't someone with king's blood very quickly, so I assume much the same will be true with you,
I said, as I waited for the inevitable sound of Ned saying that something felt weird, and having to tell him it was all right when Phileas crawled his way back out. But a few moments began to pass as we waited for Phileas's emergence, and then a few more. And a few more on top of that. Before long, we had been standing there for over a minute, and still no sign of Phileas. Okay, so how much longer, bro? Ned said, still looking himself over, looking at his hands, his stomach.
Well, to tell you the truth, my leg was already crawling out of my dad by this point. He'd already did the exchange to get him back. I don't know what the deal is. Annihilate, does it take longer for other bloodlines?
No. As far as I know, if he was an unsuitable candidate, Phileas should have begun to make his way out by now.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that Ned, our Ned, is...
Yes, it appears so. It appears that Ned possesses king's blood.
No freaking way!
I said, staring at Ned in awe. What? What's going on, dude? No freaking way what? Is something wrong? Ned said, looking at me with a concerned expression.
No, Ned. It's just that if you weren't a proper host, meaning that you didn't have king's blood, then Phileas would have tried to leave by now. The only reason that he would still be in there is if he was inside of a host with king's blood.
No way! Oh my god! Oh, praise all things! Oh, praise the universe! It happened! It happened! Ned said, dropping to his knees, a massive smile on his face. It happened! I got one! And it's a king's candidate! Oh, thank you, fate. I will never doubt you again. If there is a God in heaven, he has just answered my prayers, Ned said, down on his knees, his arms in the air, fists up over his head, with just the pure look of childlike joy that only Ned could really have.